This is 13 Wham News at 6.
We begin with a breaking news alert tonight. Rochester police have arrested a man they wanted to question regarding a deadly house fire here. Lawrence Dash was taken into custody in Buffalo today. Now, he is charged with attempted assault for another incident that happened prior to Monday night's fatal fire on Hurdle Street, in which 34-year-old Champagne Singleton was killed. 6 others, including her 2 children, escaped. At this hour, there is a vigil going on outside the home. This is a live picture of the home on Hurdle Street. Now, Dash has not been charged in the arson homicide, but authorities still want to question him again. The vigil underway at this hour. More on that coming up at 10 and 11 o'clock tonight.
I should have done more, is what I should have done. I should have done more, is what
The death of a 3-year-old Greece toddler has been ruled a homicide by the medical examiner. The Rochester Police Department says no arrests have been made in the death of the toddler as they continue to investigate who did this and why. 13 Wham's Amy Hudak talks to the woman who drove Brooke Skagels to the hospital. Talk to her about the red flags she noticed. Amy?
Robin Reome has an 11-year-old son with Brooke's father, Michael Stagels. She says 2 days before Brooke's death, she urged Michael to take Brooke to the hospital.
Robin Reome says she got the desperate call from Michael Stagels Sunday. He needed a ride to take 3-year-old Brooke to the hospital.
Looking at her while we were driving to the hospital, speeding to the hospital, she was gone. She took her last breath in the car. We need to find out what happened to this baby.
The day before, she had suspicion something was terribly wrong. She had gone to pick up her son at Michael's house.
I saw Brooke, which literally I paused and it was like a horror movie. She looked like that.
Robin says Brooke had 2 black eyes and bruises all over her body. She says Michael told her Brooke fell down the stairs. She urged he and his girlfriend to take Brooke to the emergency room.
I watched him put that baby in the car and drive off.
But they never went.
He didn't take his baby to the doctor. He thought of himself over his daughter.
Brooke died Monday, just 1 day after Robin drove her to the hospital. Today, the medical examiner ruled her death a homicide.
I should have done more, is what I should have done. I should have done more, is what
Robin says she has been fully cooperative with investigators. She was clearly grief-stricken and feels very guilty. The Rochester Police Department says they have no persons of interest at this time. It is too early in the investigation. In the newsroom, I'm Amy Hudak.
All right, thank you, Amy. Jury deliberations will begin tomorrow in the trial of 4 people accused of kidnapping and torturing 2 U of R students. 13 Wham's Kelsey Smith joining us now from the Hall of Justice, where closing arguments just wrapped up. Kelsey.
Don, it took most of the day to get through all 5 of the closing arguments, and court even stayed open a few minutes late tonight to wrap up. All 4 defense lawyers in this case maintained their client's innocence, not denying their clients were at the Harvest Street home, but rather they didn't have the involvement the multiple charges against them suggest. However, the prosecution said during closing that witnesses put the defendants in that house and at the crime scene, and that the evidence backs up what witnesses told the jury. The jury will be back here first thing tomorrow morning to begin deliberations. Live at the Hall of Justice, Kelsey Smith, 13 Wham News.
And more from the Hall of Justice. A man accused of shoving a Syracuse teen with autism during a race in Rochester last month pleaded guilty to second-degree harassment and a new charge of endangering the welfare of a child. Martin McDonald was accused of shoving Chase Coleman to the ground after the teen got lost during a cross-country meet at Cobbs Hill. McDonald told police he feared the teen was going to mug his wife.
If I go to a basketball game at one of your high schools, can I go and push a cheerleader down and then go back and enjoy the game? No. Adults have no right putting their hands on someone else's child.
McDonald will not get any jail time and could see a maximum of 3 years probation when he is sentenced in January. No arrests made in a fatal stabbing that happened late last night over on Harwood Street in Rochester. The victim is a man. His name has not yet been released. Well, as quarterback, he tries to avoid tackles, but when called upon last week, a University of Rochester football player delivered one. As we hear from Jane Flash right now, not only did he foil one crime, but also solved another.
Dan Bronson didn't think he could top his personal performance in the game against Worcester Polytechnic that Saturday, but that all changed when he went out to dinner. On November 4th, Dan Bronson threw for 2 touchdowns and scrambled 60 yards for another.
And it looks like that's going to be a touchdown.
Offensive line gave me a crease. I found it and then just ran as fast as I could to the end zone.
As quarterback, his job is to lead the Yellow Jackets on the field, but it's what happened after that game while leaving this restaurant in his hometown of Lockport that has turned him into somewhat of a celebrity.
I saw him snatch a purse out of an elderly woman's arms. I didn't really realize what happened at first, I guess. I kind of paused and I was like, whoa. Then I was like, oh, I guess I should go catch him.
State police say 31-year-old Matthew Biles never had a chance to get away. He was tackled and held, now under arrest.
After probably like 75, 80 yards, he dropped the purse. But I kept chasing him because I didn't really care about the purse at that point. I just wanted to get him.
State police quickly identified Biles as the man they believed knocked an 87-year-old woman to the ground in a similar mugging attempt the night before, causing her to break her arm and fracture her nose.
Just unreal. The fact that, 1, he did it to begin with, and then 2, he went back to the same spot.
Thinking fast on the field is second nature for an athlete. Off the field, those same reflexes stopped one crime in progress and helped to solve another.
Everybody's like, I can't believe you did that. I didn't really think I did anything extraordinary. I just happened to be put in the right place to help someone out who couldn't help themselves.
Now, tomorrow, Dan and 2 other men will receive a Citizens Recognition Award for bravery from the state police. More important to him, though, is the Facebook post he received from the granddaughter of the 87-year-old purse-snatching victim who remains in the hospital with those broken bones. The granddaughter tracked him down, she said, to say thank you.
Well, we think you're going to be amazed at how quickly we go from summer-like weather to winter-like weather as we head through the weekend. In the meantime, looking pretty good, right? We had mainly clear skies for the balance of the afternoon. The temperature right now is at 47 degrees. Here's a look at the planning forecast through this evening. Mainly clear skies. We're slowly going to be dropping through the 40s. But you know we're going to show you the weather headlines, right? And we think we're going to find record heat tomorrow, 71 degrees. Then the temperature starts to drop rapidly later Saturday afternoon. Winter is going to arrive later Saturday night. That's when the rain is going to be changing over to snow. And then it may be our first opportunity at this point to get out the snow shovel. At this juncture, we think less snow lakeside, more snow as you go south of Rochester in the higher elevations. Now, it's a difficult forecast in terms of the amount of snow. We're going to try and break it down in a couple of minutes.
All right. Thank you, Glenn. Well, members of a Brooklyn synagogue said today they have now exhausted all of their resources in their search for a Parenton landfill for that lost Jewish artifact. You see it there, just dropping into the trash when no one noticed. That trash ended up in the Parenton landfill. They sorted through 1.6 million pounds of trash over the last 4 days. And that object was shipped to the landfill here, the High Acres landfill. They've given up their search. It's up to Waste Management to consider whether they will continue it at this time. And there's more ahead on 13 WHAM News at 6. Later, what's happening to those giant beer cans outside the Genesee Brewery? But first,
we are in the design phase of a Kodak Experience Center.
a look inside the new Kodak, why it isn't all business anymore.
13 WHAM News continues.
New at 6, a rare look now at the new Kodak. While smaller, Kodak technology and talent is being used to develop new and exciting products. As we hear from Patrice Walsh, the Eastman Business Park will be a place to work, play, and live.
Welcome to the new Kodak Center. Building 28, the theater on the Ridge, will become a gathering place offering entertainment and meeting space with shops and restaurants nearby.
It really will be a completely different environment than what it is today.
Yes, if you want, you can even live there.
So you could actually live at Kodak.
Yeah.
Some people probably feel like they do anyway when they're working, right?
Exactly.
Here are the designs for housing planned along Lake Avenue. The gates will come down. It will be walkable with shops and food nearby.
You work, you learn, you can live here, and we want you to enjoy and have it be a place that you come for entertainment.
Live, learn, work, and play. That's the new strategy for the park. On the business side, they now have 6,600 workers and 70 companies.
We're in a secure area within the Eastman Business Park. Passports are required here to prove citizenship. This is where workers like Mark Garrettson do sensitive security jobs for the Defense Department.
The security structure is important to our clients.
Arnprior has 300 customers. They also make machine parts for the aerospace and automotive industries.
Manufacturing's coming back, and that's what you're hearing.
It's nice to be in a Kodak building and working with a lot of my ex-Kodak friends.
The energy sector is a big part of the park's future, with a battery testing facility and cell assembly area. Technology that was once used in film coating and emulsion is now being used to make electrodes for batteries.
The market's huge. There's a lot of people that play in this space. Think Google, think Samsung, think anybody that sells a portable handheld device.
And there's more to come. This is construction of the new Red Energy plant, where coal will be converted to gas, which will power the entire facility. In Rochester, Patrice Walsh, 13 WHAM News.
Well, work started this weekend demolishing those giant beer tanks outside the Genesee Brewery. This will lead to phase 1 in construction to modernize the brewery. Each of those tanks can hold the equivalent, or could, of 124,000 cases of beer. Goodbye to the tanks. All right, still ahead, Glenn tells us who is more likely to need the snow shovel later this weekend. His forecast when we come back.
Well, you know, when we get our first bout of winter weather, we'd like to slowly ease our way into it, get a few snow flurries here and there, then maybe get a ½ inch of snow. Not get it all at one time, but that may be the case later this weekend. At this point, we're still at 47 degrees. Winds are very light. We got a beautiful evening. All of our weather spotters talking about the nice conditions through the afternoon. Let's show you tomorrow's weather. We'll start with the good stuff, right? Tomorrow, look at the temperature by midday. We're already into the mid-60s. We're going to find lots of sunshine. We think as we go through the afternoon, the high temperature could easily be 69, 70, 71 degrees. So then when we see those kind of numbers, we start looking through the record books. And yeah, 71 degrees if we get there tomorrow. That will be at least tying the record going back to 1958. Here's a look at the setup here as we go through the weekend. There's all of that warm air, and it's in advance of a very deep storm system that's located in the upper Midwest. I mean, they're getting blizzard-like conditions, we think, going through Friday evening to the west of Chicago there. The storm system comes sweeping on by. Here comes some of the cold air. The winds are going to start to pick up, and of course the temperature is going to be dropping. So we think we get this taste of winter very rapidly as we go through Saturday into Sunday and into Monday. And it's going to be more like Sunday night, and we think it's going to be time to get the snow shovels out. How much snow? Let's look at the computer modeling. Some of the early indications, we think this is going to be an elevation storm. So in other words, the higher the elevation, the farther away you live from Lake Ontario, the better chance you're going to get some deeper snow. So one way that we can put this is right up along the lake shore, along Route 104. This may be a sloppy mess, that real wet, soppy kind of snow. You go south, we'll say possible plowing, and you go south of Routes 5 and 20, it'll be likely plowing. At this point, we think there could be a difference of some 10 or more inches from the lake shore to the Bristol Hills as we go into Sunday. So the planning forecast through this evening, we're going to find clear skies, temperature heading down through the 40s. Ultimately, I think we're down to about 40 degrees. Nice, calm, beautiful night in Rochester. Tomorrow morning, look at this for Friday. We start out in the mid-40s, maybe a jacket for the morning, and then you won't need it by the afternoon. The high temperature is going to be near 71 degrees. That should at least tie the record for the day. Again, going back to 1958. The extended outlook. Now, Saturday, we start out near 60, but the winds are going to start to pick up, and later in the afternoon, the clouds come in, showers are going to be developing, and the temperature is going to start to drop, and it's just going to keep dropping as we go through Saturday night and into Sunday. We think we could get some wind gusts near 30, 35 miles per hour Sunday morning with snow blowing around western New York. I think some of this lake effect snow continues Sunday night and into Monday. We could see some additional accumulation for the morning commute on Monday. A couple of problems we have here. The lake is so warm this time of the year. The ground ground is still about 46 degrees. It's hard to figure out what the measurement is ultimately going to be. We're going to stay on top of this. We got Scotty coming in at 10 and 11.
All right. Hey, thank you, Glenn. All right, we have some breaking news out of Greece at this hour. Police holding an active crime scene over at Saddlehorn Drive. You're looking at a live picture here. This is where a man was shot several times in a home this afternoon. Police found the victim actually trying to drive himself to the hospital. They say it is a non-life-threatening injuries, but shot several times. It is believed this is an isolated incident. They have not made any arrests. If it's isolated, there should be no further danger in that neighborhood, but we will continue to monitor that again over in Saddlehorn in Greece. 40 local men and women honored by the Rochester Business Journal today, including one of our own. The 40 Under 40 Awards highlight 40 local business leaders under the age of 40 who have achieved professional and success, also made significant contributions to our community, and our own Jennifer Johnson, you will see here shortly, I think right there in the red dress, among those honored today. Congratulations, Jen. Modest advances across the board on Wall Street again today. The Dow Jones Industrials gained about 36 points. NASDAQ advanced 39 1/3. S&P 500 picked up 10. Everything up on the local board today. Mike's here with sports coming up.
The good, the bad, and the ugly is on its way. And is Marcel ready to come out and play for the Bills? Sports is coming up next. Practice update from Orchard Park today. According to the offensive coordinator, Anthony Lynn, Percy Harvin will likely start at wide receiver in Cincinnati. And Marcel Darius was on the field and practicing, and Rex expects him to play on Sunday. The Bills are going to need help on that defense to slow down the strength of the Bengals. That would be that vertical passing game. Andy Dalton to A.J. Green. He's one of the best in the NFL. They will take their shots. And the Bills guys on defense know it'll help to get pressure on Dalton.
They've been phenomenal. Even Monday night, whatever they do, they seem to get the ball down the field. So it's going to be important for us to not let things go over our head. It's going to be important for our pass rush to get there. When they want to do a lot of protection looks and keep people in to hold off our pass rush, it's vital that we get there and fight off double teams. So at the end of the day, man, if we work well together, the D-line gets pass rush and we allow our DBs to go back there and do their thing, then we're going to be successful.
And you can see that game on Fox Rochester. That begins at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Sabres back home tonight, and they're taking on a local guy, Ryan Callahan, and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Major League Baseball final awards being presented tonight. In the next few minutes, the National League MVP is going to be given. That guy, Chris Bryant of the Cubs, the leader of the team that won the first World Series, the heavy favorite to get it in the NL. The American League Award has just been announced, and it's Mike Trout again of the Angels. They didn't have a great year, but he was fantastic. He wins the AL MVP. It's Thursday night. That means it's time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. And mongoose free on a golf course. That's a pack of them. Do we call them mongoose? I don't know. Don't take the golf ball so we can keep playing and watch this week's edition of The Good. Watch this run. He's in trouble. He's in trouble. He's not in trouble. Look at him go. Yeah, that's a touchdown. That's good. This one is bad. Yeah, straight in the air. I mean, no. And, of course, the ugly. Now, watch this one. A little fight here. Yes, he does. He pulls down his pants. And the ref, what did he do? His call was a red card.
And it was a lovely call.
Oh, it was a lovely call. Hockey. This poor Bruins guy dumps the puck in his own net. Now, watch him again. He's well-liked on the team. It's just one mistake.
Give this guy a chance.
And we will. And finally, from a goal that shouldn't have been scored to one that had no chance, Ryan Miller coming back, and he makes the save. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
All right. Not basketball, but our bright spot shines on the Hoop House when we come back. Finally, our bright spot shines on the Hoop House, using vacant lots to harvest food all year long. Wegmans has spearheaded this project, which involves students from number 33 school. It's a productive lesson in both agriculture and community outreach. This Saturday, they will harvest vegetables for 40 families for Thanksgiving Day. A bright spot on education and giving back. And one more look at the weather now.
Yeah, it's looking good. We're going to find temperatures dropping through the 40s this evening, clear skies, and then near 70 tomorrow.
Story on Greece Athena football tonight at 10.
All right, updating 2 breaking news stories right now. First, you see on the left the vigil at Hurdle Street, a suspect in custody, a person of interest now in custody. And over on Saddlehorn Drive, a shooting incident late this afternoon in Greece. Details on both of these at 10 and 11.